What's up, YouTube fans? Today I want to take a look at the Ocular Max event-exclusive Ater Beta Extreme, or their version of a Masterpiece Scale IDW Deadlock that eventually turns into Drift in the comic. And again, I don't know that much about the comic, but I know there's a relationship there between the two characters. This is the second repaint of the Deadlock version of this character. First, we got Drift in his AE-86 vehicle mode. Then we got Drift kind of in a souped up, vehicle mode with his red and white, classic look for Drift. Third, we got the Deadlock mold, which does have some retooling. I'll point that out in a minute. And then finally, we've got this guy, which is repaint of the Deadlock mold. It has, some more extreme colors on it. There's a couple things you need to do out of box. And there's basically options. You don't have to do it, but I'm just going to show you how they have it in the instructions and on the box. So first we can bring back these doors. Make sure the windows are slid all the way back on the slider right here. Fold that in, and then that'll just sit on his backpack. And that gets the doors out of the way on the side. You don't have to do that. It does end up looking like this, but that's one option. That helps us get this out of the way. So if you open this up, you'll see there is this ab piece, and we want to rotate this out to give him his abs. So we can bring this back in and do the same thing on this side. Bring this out, and we'll rotate this up. It does have some paint detail on it, so another reason why you might want it, it has that nice paint detail. All right, get that back in. So we reconfigured the doors, we reconfigured his abs, and then the last thing, again, this is an option. You don't have to do it, but you can lift up on this, unpeg it from here, come to the back, and we're going to slide this hood section away, which allows us to lift this up on this panel right here. Shift this whole thing up, and it will plug back in right here. So you have that kind of raised up. Oops. Let's try that again. There we go. So you get that raised up look for the shoulder. I think that looks good on this particular mold and figure, so I'm gonna do that. But it is an option. You don't have to have the shoulders up if you don't want it. So fold that up and then tab it in. All right. And now we are ready for action. And he looks pretty awesome. It's got a lot of paint. I don't think it's fully covered. Like the white is not painted. There's some black parts and purple parts that aren't painted, but a lot of it is. On the head, you've got red, gold, kind of gunmetal, gray, red accents throughout. Purple, white paint, and black paint there. Gold paint for the waist. You have red and white on the waist, silver for here. Let's see if these knees still adjust. Yeah, they do. I don't think it looks great up like that, slid up. I prefer like this, so I'm just going to leave that down. But that was an option on the original mold as well. But I'm just going to keep it down for now because I think it looks better down. Gold, silver accents all throughout. You'll see the translucent red for the windows later. Silver paint, red paint, black paint, that's all new paint accents compared to the original. Speaking of which, let's bring in the original. So there is the Drift. This is the second version with the, basically red stripes. And just comparing the two, you can see the head sculpts are different. This guy's got the things on the side. He's a little bit more sleek of a head. This one's a little bit more rounded. Difference on the waist here, the crotch plate, different pattern as well as a different size overall. You have a difference on the thighs themselves. This one has a little vent piece here. This one has a vent, but it also has this piece on the outside, which changes the look, the sculpt. Different knee pads, you can see just sculpted and painted differently. Coming to the side, arms are pretty much the same, but obviously you can see the scabbards, which become the doors in vehicle mode, are now on his back. So that has been completely retooled. That is a different transformation now with the doors. It does still have all of this hardware on the backpack, so you can still store the swords and stuff. It doesn't come with swords, but if you wanted to, you could give him a sword from this guy. So you can see they clearly put in some effort to differentiate Deadlock from Drift, and I appreciate that. I love that they didn't just copy it and change the colors. All right, let's go over his articulation. Head is on a ball joint, goes up to there, down to there, side to side, and rotates around. And nice tolerance on that. Shoulder turn around on a friction joint, out to the side, up to there, on a hinge. You have butterfly joint, a giant butterfly joint. Just due to the way it's designed, you can get the arm all the way across his chest. It's also a reverse butterfly if you want to use it that way. You have a rotation here at the bicep at a cut joint. Double jointed elbow. And I often knock this off of here, so just be aware of that. That's can be a little bit loose, but double jointed elbow, full bend. Rotation at the wrist, in and out movement at the wrist. I also noticed that, this, just make sure this is pushed out so it's flush with the arm. Fingers are individually articulated. These are some of the best hands. They're a little bit fiddly, but they have a lot of range of motion. You can splay out. You have 1, 2, 3 pins on the fingers, and then 2 pins and a ball joint on the thumb. So that's pretty nice. Coming out of the waist, you have a waist rotation. This one's a little bit on the tight side, but it works. Ab crunch gets you down to there. Hip skirts will move out of the way on the sides and in the front. Legs will kick up to there. Back to there. Out to the side on a ratchet. You have a rotation at the thigh at a cut joint. Or no, sorry, at a universal. You have a double jointed knee, so if you bend the top joint first, you can get a little bit more out of the bottom joint. So that works pretty well. Pretty much the full bend out of that. Top one is a little bit tight, but it works. Going down to the knee, or the knee pad, you get rotation in and out. Feet can tilt out to there all the way, back to there, and then toe tilt forward and backward. All right, now let's take a look at his accessories. And I actually had removed these from his arms beforehand, but these will fit right over the wheels. And basically he has cannons there. So that's pretty cool. He came with those installed. I took them off just to, separate them as accessories. But honestly, I think if you're going to display this character, you basically have to have those on there, right? It kind of just looks like Deadlock a little bit more because he's got the guns. We also get a bunch of weapons. So first off, we get this blaster. It's got silver paint, red paint, sculpted beautifully. You can put this in either hand, but you want the smaller peg on the outside. That'll clip over top of the hand. And then you can close the fingers around it. And he holds that pretty well. We can also move that, and we can store this out here. So there's a little clip, and and you get this under grip, which I think is pretty neat. We also get this blaster, kind of a bigger rifle or, powerful gun. Same thing on this. You can flip this around. And again, you can go at either hand. Oh, I have it the wrong way. And that's what that looks like. Pretty cool. Actually, I think it is a rifle because it's got what appears to be a tripod or bipod right there. However, we can take this and let's see, I'm going to put it like that. And this will peg in on the other side. And give you this look. So you have two undergrip weapons. That's a lot of firepower. And the other weapon we get is his crossbow, done in black, white, and purple paint. Obviously becomes a spoiler in vehicle mode. Gold paint, red paint. It looks really good. Same kind of thing. You can use this tab here to fit it over the hand and get something like that. Or, actually, I think you might want this way. Either way. Or you can reconfigure this, and I get a little bit messed up with this, but take this off. We'll rotate this to the side, and this will plug in on this. And there's several different ways to configure this. It's obviously adjustable, but there you go. And one last thing, we can take the guns, and if you come to the back, you'll see a spot there. So if you rotate this way, you can plug this into his back for storage. All right, the last two accessories here are the alternate face sculpts. And here's the current one on there, just straight face. It's a really nice looking head. We can pop that off the ball joint and come to the chin here. And we'll pull forward. Actually, it might help if you have a spudger or something to get that wedged off. And that just went flying, so I'll have to go find that. But take the new face and get that in there. And we get a somewhat of a smirking face. And then we also have a yelling face, or angry face. And I'll just leave that one on there. I think that looks pretty good. Put that back on, and there you go. And for size comparison, there it is next to the Magic Square version of Optimus Prime. Fits in nicely as a carbot and fits the Masterpiece scale well. All right, now let's get this guy transformed into vehicle mode. And transformation is nearly the same as the original, with the exception of how the doors transform, just because that is a new part compared to the drift mold. We'll start on the arms. So come to here, rotate the wrists around, make sure you have the hands folded up like this in a little cube. Also, make sure you remove the guns from the arms because you can't transform it with those on. Fold up the wrist, fold up this joint here at the arm. Make sure the fingers are flat. Like that. Then we'll come to the back. You can pull out on the butterfly joint. Unpeg this red panel from right here. Lift this up and come to the back. We'll rotate out this piece right here. Then we'll rotate this back. Fold this underneath. And that will sit right there. This will fold in and basically become flush with this. All right. Then we'll take the arm. This will fold up and into here. And you'll see there's a little peg on the inside going into a slot on the white part of the arm. So get that lined up and plug that in. Bring the arms up and just have it sit right here for now. Now we'll go ahead and do the other side. I'm going to do this side off camera, and then we'll be right back. All right, now that we've got the arms taken care of, we can take care of the chest and waist section. On the back, we can unplug these doors, just open up the glass here, make sure that's slid all the way back. And then we're going to rotate these out to the side to get them out of the way. We can rotate the waist 180 degrees. Make sure it's right in the middle, centered there. Come to the front. We can fold this panel down. That'll release the windshield. Pull back on the windshield to untab this section. Bring back these seats, and these will fold up to there. And there are little headrests in here for the seats. It's not super important. It'll probably fold back on you anyways, but fold out those headrests. Bring this down. I'll unpeg from the neck. Here we're going to rotate the ab pieces in. And then we're going to rotate the head down. And that will actually sit and butt up against those head pieces. Bring this back down. Make sure you grab the steering wheel. Bring that to this side. And now we can take care of the arm section. So up here, we're going to accordion this in on its double hinge. So it ends up like this. Same on this one, accordion this in on the double hinge. And you'll see there's two tabs on the shoulders, which will end up tabbing into here and here. All right, so get the arms pegged together. The hand should fit neatly in here, so if it's not, just adjust the fingers, but it should all be in here nice and neat. We'll bring this section down, the hood. And actually, before we close this, we got to close up this. Sorry about that. Bring down that hood section and make it flat. Here we go. Now we can plug in the two halves. Make sure you get all the tabs there. So that's how we're looking. We can bring this back up, the chest piece here. That will tab in on the sides here. I find these to be a little bit challenging. This, like, you get one and the other one's a little bit harder. But you can kind of look underneath. Make sure you get both of those in there. And you might need to adjust these pieces here. All right, bring this down and just get that wedged right underneath the hood. So it looks like that. Bring your doors up, and these should tab in, at least the bottom of the door should tab in right here. And here. And leave the doors open for now. Coming to the top here, you're going to lift this up. This will peg in to the back of the windshield. Make sure this is straight. So that will form the roof of the car. All right, now we're in the home stretch of this transformation. So let's get to the finish line. So the legs are a little bit more challenging, but not too bad. Come to here, we're going to open this up, pull this out, gives yourself some room. Take the feet, and I gotta remember the sequence here. Oh, we're going to unpeg this silver piece from this black piece. Fold up your toe, basically curl it up like that. We're going to take this section, and this is going to rotate past that foot once you roll it up. Then you want to undo what you just did and bring that all the way up the other direction and rotate this back right here up, the silver piece. Right, once you have that configured like this, my apologies for not being able to show it all clearly, but this should be folded like that. Cording the leg up on the double hinge, both joints, make sure this hip skirt is folded in as far as it goes. So this will come down. The silver part will end up fitting right between the seat there and this middle section. So get that squared away. Actually, one thing I forgot to do, open up this hip skirt. We have to collapse down this thigh in this cavity here. It's a little tricky, but this has to slide up. And you can see the difference. You know, I've got this one up and this one not. So let's do this while we're here before I forget. Slide that up. All right. And that should allow it to basically match up. All right, bring this down. This will come over and clip in right here. There we go. The spoiler on the back will come down. And I feel like this is not quite right. I think that's right. Plug in this tab down there. And then go ahead and do the same thing on this side. You got to get it into this form. And then we'll combine them together. All right, now that we got both legs transformed, we can kind of put them together. So tab in the middle here, and in the middle of the legs, as well as on the glass here. Let's get that all squeezed together. On the sides here, you're going to plug this lower side skirt together. Make sure you do that on both sides. That part is a little tricky because it's hard to reach it. But get that squeezed together. And then we can bring down this roof piece. There's a little tab right here going into a slot right there. It's a tight fit, but it does go. Then close down the door. Get that pegged in. Oh, and I forgot one little thing. This little red tab has to go underneath and plugs right into the side of this quarter panel. So this one I got in, this one I didn't. Close up the door. All right, there's Ater Beta Extreme in vehicle mode. It's a very nice looking vehicle. You got this blackish dark gray paint, purple paint, translucent lights with gold, red, and yellow, orange here for markers, and then translucent with orange or gold down here. Gold rims with rubber tires. Does roll nicely. You have treads on there. On the back, we got an exhaust done in silver, and then taillights in red and orange. Translucent red windows all the way around. That looks really good. You even have detail here in the dashboard, so you open up the doors. You do have a steering wheel in there with a seat. You could probably put like a little mini figure in there if you wanted to. But very nice, detailed vehicle mode here. Here's the bottom. We can take the crossbow, detach to this, open up these hinges, and this will plug in right back here. So you want to get this hooked over the back and then pegged in there. And that looks great. Nice big spoiler. It is an option part. You don't have to have it. Then we're going to take this. You want to have the handle. You'll see there's a slot here. A little groove right there. So this handle will come and plug in like that. And then come to the bottom, and this will plug in. There's two little grooves in the back bumper that fit this panel here. So get this down. There's also two little grooves in the thighs that fit a peg here. So Push that in, you end up with this extra exhaust piece sticking out the back, which I think is kind of cool. It does end up pushing up on the bumper. Here you can see the bumper is no longer sitting flat. That's because of this, but love that you can store all that. You can also store all of the weapons. So we can come to here. This will plug in on the side. And same on this side. So you get this look. Then you can grab the weapons and have the handles configured like this. And that will plug in right there. And this one will plug in on the other side. And now you have this. I think this looks awesome. I love the fact that all the weapons store. It's just like a, battle car at this point. For comparison, there it is next to the original Ocular Max, initial D version of Drift. You can see the vehicle is quite a bit different from this one. They've changed a lot. The rear bumper, the spoiler, the lights, the wheels, the actual fenders are different. The roof is slightly different, at least the paint is. The hood is different. It's got this little indentation here. It's not just paint. The front lights are different. The lower bumper is different. I mean, they've changed quite a bit. Even the transformation is a little different because of the way the doors store on the back. So I definitely appreciate them, retooling this to give us an accurate vehicle mode. That's really, attention to detail. And for size comparison, there it is next to the MP10 Optimus Prime. Fits in perfectly with the Masterpiece scale and with other carbots in this line. So final recommendations on the Ocular Max event exclusive Ater Beta Extreme. This is pretty cool, just like the other ones they've released of this mold. I'm going to give this a 4 to 5. I'll recommend it. Overall, there's enough different here to warrant getting another version of this mold. I like the new weapons that they include, these 2 rifles, and the fact that they can store. Crossbow is really nice. The transformation, the articulation is pretty smooth, and the transformation is really fun and intuitive. I love the vehicle mode. They did a great job on the look of the vehicle mode. The deco is not necessarily for me. I think it's just too much different colors. But I think if you're a fan of this mold, or you just like Deadlock as a character, I think you'll really enjoy this. I mean, it's just a great looking figure. So that's it for today. If you're looking to pick this up, you can pick this up from Toy Dojo or Ages 3 and Up, as they have some copies after the BotCon and TFCon conventions. Thanks for watching. We'll see you next time.